This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 3, Episode 19. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the next 7 years of Disney films because they want to let us know what's coming. I'm sure they're still keeping stuff under wraps. Along with that, we have a trailer reaction bonanza because we got 3 big trailers that came out this week. And I got questions, and I don't know if you guys do too, but we're going to be talking about It, Chapter 2, the new Watchmen trailer for the Watchmen series on HBO, as well as the trailer for the new Final Fantasy VII remake that they put out just to appease us for the time being. And there's other little things, you know, we might do a nerd fight rebuttal, along with somebody's got to talk about it with a really weird way of getting drinks out to straight edgers. So with that, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining us on the cast. And here's the intro. Hello to all the Geek Enthusiasts and Nerd Aficionados. It is Mess5150 here with another All Things Nerd podcast. Not to be confused with another All Things Nerd podcast where they are trying to use our name, but the Malice Corp version of All Things Nerd, which has been being used for the last 3 years. So thank you guys for joining us again here live every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, twitch.tv/Malice Corp for the All Things Nerd podcast live stream. If you are listening to this on Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, even if you're at YouTube on the Malice Corp channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop comments, make sure you leave some interactions so we can continue the conversations that we have here with you. And if you really want to check us out, head over to the website that supports all this, malice-corp.com. That is our main website. And we thank you so much for coming here. But let's talk about who's here on the cast. You have me, Mess5150. Also joining us on the cast, we have IC Zorro back from vacation. How are you, sir?
Oh, wonderful, but also weirdly suddenly unemployed. So not for long, but it was a real fun vacation and wedding, and then there was no job. But now I just want to talk about nerd stuff.
Nice. No, that's what we're here for, is to talk about nerd stuff. Also joining us on the cast, you may have missed him this week earlier on Twitch because he was under the weather. But he wanted to talk about some nerd stuff, so we got Masonic Vader here with us on Friday. How goes it, sir?
It goes better, and if my thing goes muted, it's because I'm hacking a lung. It's all good.
Oh, I'm in the same boat. So.
I've got my liquid nutrition though here.
I got the travel crud. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I've got the classroom crud, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you're working in a petri dish again, so
I think I ate a bad piece of lasagna. So my body
no such thing, sir. Such thing.
It's fun. Lasagna that's not properly packaged for a week is such a thing. So I was like, yeah, it looks safe. It looks safe. That green in the that's got to be just lettuce in there, right? Or
maybe they put some spinach in there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It didn't taste bad, but my body's not liking it. So that's what's going on here. Also joining us on the cast, we have Super Hoovy and Freak. How are you, madam?
Not bad. It was not a bad week. Unfortunately, my week was filled with work, so I kind of have the opposite.
Oh, mine was filled with work too.
Yeah, but considering I recently am off the unemployment boat. It's nice to be back at work.
Nice. And lastly, joining us on the cast, he is from the Smack Talk podcast and the Game of Thrones reaction podcast. We have Mind Freak with us here on the cast, just because we're going to talk about video games, so we had to make sure he was here. So how are you, Mind
Freak? Of course, have the video game enthusiast on here too. No, back-to-back nights on the Twitch channel, guys. So we may lose some viewers because I'm here for a second night in a row, so we're not sure.
We're gonna make it for all the Smack Talk casts you missed when you were taking like.
Hey, I was on assignment, but at least I'm here feeling better, and I think Masonic Vader is only here tonight because he really didn't want to be on it last night. So
you were the roving reporter for a while.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think all the time I've been on cast. Yeah, okay.
I'm just messing with you, Vader. I'm just messing. You weren't there last night, so I had to talk a little smack to you tonight.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Okay, so what we like to start this cast out with is what everybody's been geeking on. This portion of the show is talking about the things that have been keeping us busy, tickling our nerd fancies. But it's mainly to go, hey, there's this really cool thing that we've been doing. You should go check this out. And my geek out for the last 7 weeks was Supernatural. So I finished all of Supernatural so I can rightfully talk badly about the show if I want to now, because I have actually watched every single episode. And that was 2 seasons per week. So I think I did a really good job
You're a
with
machine, sir. You are a machine.
Yeah.
That's Beacon plus levels of binging.
When that's, because let's see, that's at least 20 episodes. Well, there's only one season that's what, 14? Because the writer's
season
strike.
3, 16, I think. Yeah.
Were you in trouble with the wifey?
No.
Okay, good.
No, she would come in every once in a while, and she was getting a good extent of what was going on until you get to these last few seasons when it was like, wait, she just popped back in. I thought that person was dead. That's not the same version of that person.
Yeah,
Good.
that happened a lot the last couple seasons. Alternate realities, man. I'm telling you, it really throws you off.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my problem. And just to touch on this really quick with you, Super. You talked about like, okay, the season finale happened the same time as Avengers Endgame and Battle of Winterfell, and you're like, oh, it's a hard hitting. But the problem that's happened with me, and this may be the factor that I didn't actually spend 14 years with this show. I
still haven't seen the season finale, by the way.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say what happened, but every time that there's a season finale and stuff happens, they resolve it within 2 episodes on the next season.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nothing has an impact anymore.
The only thing in the last 3 or 4 seasons that had an impact was Jack being born.
Hold on, I
we'll see.
What were you saying, Super?
It definitely is going to set up a good season 15 because, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it because I know IC hasn't seen it, but you have to wonder because the hashtag of the episode was writer's lie. And
the big thing is season 15 is the last season. So
right.
It's going to be like watching Endgame where it's like, well, we know everything counts now. This is
exactly. So what are they going to do?
So everything that happens in season 15 will be for sure legit. This is what's going to happen. But
I'm personally wondering if the person that was in the finale that did the things was really the person, or was it someone masquerading as him? And that's what I think
it is. I think it is because that's the fight that has to happen. But
it could be because you still got the empty.
Let's not tiptoe anymore and possibly spoil anything. So what have you been geeking out on?
I'm seeing Endgame tomorrow finally with a friend of mine. And then I went and saw after work today Detective Pikachu. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I was laughing like the entire time. Ryan Reynolds just makes a movie. And the chemistry that he had with the 2 other leads, Catherine Newton and Justice Smith, was incredible. And it was, so I recommend it. Your inner child will be happy. As I posted on Twitter, the one scene, it's not a spoiler, but there's one scene where it harkened me back to childhood. Ryan Reynolds is tearfully singing the original Pokemon theme song, just like walking down a road by himself. And he's singing, gotta catch them all or whatever. And he's like doing the little hand motions, and it was hilarious. I was dying. So
do you need to know the Pokemon universe to enjoy the movie? Because I never really got
not at all. Not at all. Even if you haven't seen a single episode, it was, very self-explanatory.
Okay.
Polyfuse says my inner child hates electric rats.
Jack Malice recently started watching Lucifer. I'm about a quarter of the way into the new season, and it's fantastic so far.
Well, speaking of that, I'm going to go on to the geek out between you, Icy Zero, and Mind Freak for the next 2, because you're halfway through Lucifer, and I'll get to Mind Freak here in a second because he binged the whole last season. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what you're geeking out on currently.
That's one of the things. It's one of the things. There's another show that I found on Netflix that is incredible and sci-fi and geeky and weird, and I'm not really sure what to make of it because I haven't finished the first season yet. There's only 2 so far. It's called The OA. It's about this girl that she comes back to a town where she was theoretically kidnapped around 7 years ago, and she was held prisoner for all this time. And in the first episode, you find out like some really weird stuff has happened, and she has to build a team of 5 people to help her. There seems to be some sort of interdimensionality thing going on. At one point, she was blind, and then she wasn't. It's a weird, really interesting show. It's well written, well acted. It's a bunch of people I've never seen before, except for Jeremy Irons, I think.
Bearded Master says the OA is fantastic. That's good to hear, because it was getting panned really badly.
Well,
like it was really slow.
I've tried not to. Yeah, it's definitely slow. I mean, it's a binging thing. I feel like the only criticisms I really saw of it were that season 1 didn't give anybody any of the answers that they wanted, but then 2 really picked that up.
Okay.
I've also been reading latest In Death book. Thank you again, Super, for introducing me to that season. And I've been playing World of Warcraft pretty much nonstop, because once you get going on that again, it's like crack.
And we want to also welcome into the chat room Red Meepaw. She says Pridine and her are going to see it on birthday Sunday. I don't know if it's her or Pridine's birthday, but I'm assuming they're talking about Pikachu. So
Jason Isaacs, that's who it was, not Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons was the voice of Scar. Different guy.
It's Meepaw's birthday. So happy birthday, Meepaw. Hope the paw is all great and feeling great. So if you guys want to interact with us here on the cast, as always, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you don't realize, this is a video podcast, not just an audio cast. And just to be part of it, twitch.tv/Malice Corp. While you're here, click the follow button if you want to support us that way. If you want to support just by being here to talk about stuff and help out with the content that happens on the show, be here and chit chat with us. Heck, if you really want to support us, you can always subscribe to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means that you get a free subscription to give to a channel every 30 days. It helps us out. It doesn't cost you a penny. And we greatly, greatly appreciate anything that you want to do, whether it's subscribing, following, or just commenting on the cast. We greatly appreciate you guys being here. Mind Freak. So you binged it in one day. I'm sure this is your geek out. How's Lucifer?
Oh man, amazing. Without spoiling anything, one of the biggest things that, a lot of, like me especially, were thinking about going into it, compared to back when it was on Fox, you had like 20 episode seasons or so. Netflix, you only have 10 episodes. But what I found with these 10 episodes, it gets right to the point and just kind of stays on target instead of kind of like blowing it up, bringing it back in. There's
like a lot less filler from what I've seen. Exactly.
And not to get me wrong, watching some of the filler was good, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's filler. But
because it very much still has the same feel as it did before.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. And I think one of the questions, I can't remember, I think it was you, Miss, that asked me last night before the Smack Talk cast, because they're on Netflix, did they still kind of keep that Fox-esque theme, or did they kind of push the boundaries a little bit because they are Netflix? It's pretty much almost exactly the same it was on Fox, just a couple other curse bombs here and there, whatnot have you, and all that stuff. So, other than that, I can't believe we didn't bring this up. The other thing I'm nerding out, Cobra Kai Season 2, finally watched it, binged that today.
Gotta watch that.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Beard Master, for reminding me that it was out. And then the Spider-Man trailer that dropped earlier this week.
Yep. So, I think it's still, there's a lot of red herrings in that. After what I saw, the differences and changes they made.
They're all communists?
Yeah. The differences that they made and changes that they made to the Endgame trailer versus what you see on screen, there's probably a lot that they're messing with on it. But now if you go see Endgame, there is an after credit scene. It is the Spider-Man trailer. They just couldn't put it out until after they got past their time frame of not spoiling anything. Lastly, on the cast, Masonic Vader, what have you been geeking out on?
Oh man, it's been a pretty chill week geeking out. Got back into playing XCOM 2 on my PlayStation, and actually got the second, like the downloadable content, the extra missions and everything. So I've been playing that a lot. Let's see, I television wise, I mean, I saw Endgame a couple times this week, or I mean, one more time this week. Excuse me. My kid went and saw Pikachu with my mom, so she threw herself on the sword because I can't stand Pokemon, and I thought I'd be dead by the time I had a kid. Unfortunately, it's still around. Yeah, that's kind of like about it. Other than the fact that I was saying in the pre-show, unfortunately, when you have a little bit more time on your hands, you start developing things. And I've been collecting some pops, so I'm starting to build a wall. Probably never going to be like your wall behind you there, but yeah, that's about it.
Do not come to the dark side. Don't get sucked in on those pops. It's hard to stop what's happening.
If you don't have a collection of something, are you even really a nerd?
Well, you could be like Pee Wee Herman, have a collection of rubber bands and make a big giant ball.
Okay, there's a couple of different ways to go there.
I was waiting to see which way you thought I was going with that.
Yeah, movie theaters. Never mind.
No, we're not going there. That's not a collection we were going to talk about. Yeah, so
that's more of an achievement than a collection.
That's what we've been geeking out on. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're checking this out on iTunes, dropping in a review and stuff like that. Let us know what you've been geeking out on, or come join us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups /all things nerd podcast, and join the group there and let us know what you've been geeking out on, what other things we should be checking out. Even if it's just to drop a meme or just have some fun interaction. We are always there.
We love memes. Give us memes. Bring all the memes.
So, with that being said, let's get on to what we're here for, the nerd news. The first nerd news story, which is pretty much going to take up the whole nerd news for the most part, is Disney came out and released their plans for the next 7 years of films. Not, of course, releasing everything, but first and foremost, the one that everybody ran with that really got them first was
Tolkien. Yeah. Wait.
No, not Tolkien. we have ending this year the Skywalker saga. You have Rise of Skywalker coming out this year, and the thought was, what's going on with Star Wars? Well, they gave us dates for 3 new Star Wars films, with the first one it's a new trilogy is what they've said, with the first one in 2022, I believe.
That is correct, sir.
So we don't know what this trilogy is going to encompass, if this is Rian Johnson's trilogy, if this is whatever Benioff and Weiss are working on.
So, with the Rian Johnson trilogy, I don't know how accurate it is, but I just saw a little snippet that I heard that his trilogy was actually canceled.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how accurate that is.
I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything about that, but it wouldn't surprise me after the backlash.
After episode 8,
it was one of those things where I was just like scrolling through news and I just like popped it, but I didn't have time to read it. One of those things. So it's something I'll do a little bit more info in later on. But that leads the other question to believe with it too, with Star Wars. They've said that, we're working on like an Old Republic style movie or game or TV show or something. So could it be finally the Old Republic's being more brought into the whole idea of Disney canon? I mean, because there have been little snippets from different shows and stuff like that. So I hope it is.
Well, we could definitely tell you it's not going to involve any Skywalkers.
No,
it doesn't matter. There's no Skywalker in the Old Republic. You don't need Skywalker in the Old Republic because you have so much different things you can do. Like from like the Star Wars side of things, because Star Wars. I'm deep into the wars with tats and all that stuff. Revenant Darth Bane. Sorry, brain fart.
You guys need to watch this show live and be in the chat room. Polyfuse is killing it right now, cracking me up.
I love Polyfuse's comments. However, I'm not going to say them.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say any of them.
I know. Safety to the rest of the audience that's listening on Stitcher and stuff. If you want to see this stuff, this is not our thoughts. This is just our chat room's thoughts.
We are still, for some reason, not rated mature. So
continue your thoughts.
My thoughts are with all the Star Wars, like deep Star Wars nerds, like some of us here, myself included. We want to see the Old Republic on screen. Like, we played the games, we've read the books. Like, bring us Revan, give us the whole story of Revan. Not just like what we played in the game, but like before. But same thing with Darth Bane. One of the, outside of like the main Star Wars trilogy, one of the most well-known Sith Lords out there, and who has a compelling story to him.
What about anybody else? Any other?
I'm looking through this schedule of films that are going to be released. Like not the breakdown of what companies doing what, but like just the chronological films that are coming out in different years. There's a lot of stuff on here that's going to be amazing.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff. I'm going to get to it. I just want to know if anybody has any other ideas of what do they want this next trilogy of Star Wars films to be a whole new trilogy? Do they want it to be a continuation of the new characters, just not Skywalker saga style? You know,
maybe get some new characters. Like, I mean, they're big on backstories, I guess. I don't know if they really covered Poe's backstory. He would be the only one I would be curious about what he did before the rebellion. But personally, I'm not excited about either filmmaker, the D&D or Rian Johnson. As far as I'm concerned, they can both piss off. One is, horrible at writing, and I'm not very happy with some of the stuff that D&D have done recently with Game of Thrones. So, yeah. Give me new film.
We got fact checking going on in our chat room from Red Meepaw. Thank you, Red. She says Sci-Fi Wire states there is no truth to the rumor Rian Johnson's trilogy has been canceled.
Okay.
From Sci-Fi Wire, thanks to a new Disney press release, we now know release dates for the next 3 Star Wars films to be released: The Rise of Skywalker, and then the untitled ones each year on Christmas weekend. So.
It's going to be every 2 years. The weekend.
I will take this back. You can give me Rian Johnson as a director, because I think he could actually be better if he's not following up and trying to fit to someone else's style.
If he's working with his own story,
yes, I will. So I will take that back, because he was following up JJ and trying to both fit in JJ's world and also completely crap all over it at the same time, which is very hard to do. He did not find that line. So.
Living in JJ's shadow can't be a comfortable
place.
But
I mean, you know what? I'll speak for Jack Malice, because I don't know if he's in the chat room right now. But give me some Thrawn. Show.
He has said that in the chat room.
And give us that storyline from that, world and universe, and start throwing these other characters out there. Get people excited about the books, because people may want to go read those books, but go like, oh, they're not characters I know. I don't know if I really want to get that deep in the world. But you start bringing it to film, you start bringing it to, so.
I think if there's one thing that we can trust Disney to be solid on, regardless of the property, it's merchandising. They're gonna, the fact that they have so much created content already, I would hope that they're gonna have something that ties into stuff that people can already relate to. But even if it's new properties, absolutely, I'm willing. I mean, just make sure that it's quality, Yeah,
I'm kind of like, I'm in the dark on this at this point. I mean, I'm excited to kind of see what they're going to have a Star Wars franchise, but at the same time, I'm not, because I guess growing up having the Skywalker and everything, that's what Star Wars is to anyone who's seen it since square one. So now I know they've had books and they've had canon and they have a lot of other stories that they can go from it. I totally get that. I'm just gonna kind of like hold my tongue and just kind of wait and see what happens, because right now, I'm looking forward to seeing the episode 9. And then after that, I'm just going to be interested in seeing what they do with Marvel and everything, because from that point on, when episode 9 is done, Star Wars officially, for me, it's not necessarily done, but the original story's done. So
yeah, it's like anything after that is fanfic rather than canon.
Exactly. So I'm going to be more interested to see with Phase 4 with Marvel and Star Wars, because at that point, the original 9 episodes that were talked about way back in the days in 77 and before are going to be officially over.
Nice. Okay, so moving on to the next thing that they talked about, something that we talked about last time, and that's the Phase 4 plans for Marvel 2020 and beyond. Yes. We know what we know so far. Black Widow standalone, adaptation of Eternals, Shang-Chi movie, Black Panther 2.
I'm interested in that one.
We know Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will probably take one of the later dates because they have 2 untitled films planned for 2021 and 2022. And
and James Gunn is all tied up with Suicide Squad. Yeah.
So
I think it's supposed to be as Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, they wrote that line into the movie for somebody to say. So yeah, it's got to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's already rumors that Beta Ray Bill will be in the next Guardian of the Galaxy, which makes sense for Thor in there, and I really hope that that's what comes to effect and happens because I want my Beta Ray Bill. But I had a theory that popped up when I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I'm glad that they brought up Phase 4 because that gave me this opportunity to go back to it because we didn't bring it up during the end game because there was so much stuff to talk about. But what do you guys think? I am wondering if the earthquakes that they brought up under the water, very, very small scene, just one sentence mentioned about it. Earthquakes under the water. Are they setting up Namor? Is Marvel going like, hey, you've got Aquaman, let's get our Atlantean set up? Or do you think that this could just be like just in there for the heck of it? I just don't see Marvel doing that.
I absolutely. They are great at foreshadowing and tiny little clues and hints dropped here and there. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that 3 to 5 years from now, when we're in a full saga around a character like that, where people are gonna be like, "Oh man," you're gonna see BuzzFeed articles like, "Here's the one hint from Endgame that you never caught, but they were foreshadowing this for years." Yeah, absolutely, that's the type of thing they do.
Okay. So it's not just me that thinks that they could be doing that with that one little thing.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know if they necessarily. I guess it just depends on who they're going to keep through, because as you keep reading up, you're still reading stuff about the fact that it might not be the last time we get to see Tony Stark or Iron Man, or it might not be the last time we get to see Captain America. I mean, there's all these things we keep reading, and we know that they've all said at one form or another that they would play the role again if deemed necessary, or if they felt that it would be in a right way. So I don't know if they'd be ready for Submariner yet, or if they want to kind of hold him off until the very end to kind of move him to Phase 5 or something, Yeah.
If they have a message, by the way, there's an article on IndieWire from a week ago that has that exact theory that you have in there.
Okay. Well, I didn't get that from there. It was just from a chit chat with.
I know. Yeah.
But that's what I thought when the guy I was working with brought that up. I was like, holy crap. And here's the thing. I brought up on the cast the female moment from Endgame. And I was like, this felt like, hey, you have Wonder Woman. Here's our team. And everybody's like, no, Marvel wouldn't do that. Well, another thing has dropped.
Isn't that a whole series?
Yeah, it is. But
yeah, A-Force.
I felt like it was Marvel showing, hey, you got one. Let's show you how many strong female characters we have that we've set up. DC.
Well, I wish I would have been on the cast. I would have backed you up.
Yeah, well, because there's another thing that dropped that made me think even more that they were definitely doing inside jokes at DC. The Love You 3000, and you're in the 600 to 900 range. 3000 is how many hours of watch time it is for the Marvel films. 600 to 900 is how much watch time.
It is absolutely not 3,000 hours for no.
There was something that wrote up
universe, like all the TV and everything.
All the movies.
3,000 minutes for all the movies in the universe.
Minutes, maybe not hours.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, 3,000. Yeah. Versus it's
hours,
about 600.
So many movies.
It's about 600 to 900 minutes for the DC films to watch them. So they're like, this could have been just an inside joke there too. So
that's a hilarious.
Now, are they talking about the current DC films? Or are they talking every single
current
one?
Current DC.
Okay, so they're not reaching back.
No,
we're not talking Richard Donner Superman or anything.
No. So, yeah. So
Snyderverse.
Other stuff that we got.
Just brings up in the chat real quick. Justice League first has to defeat Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
They are doing more remakes, but we knew about that before. We just got dates for them when they're coming out. The sequel to Maleficent, Mulan is 2020. Cruella, the 101 Dalmatians redo of Emma Stone as Cruella is 2020 as well, and then another live action. We don't know about Pixar films, but here's the nice one. Indiana Jones has a release date of July 9th, 2021.
Isn't Harrison Ford like 82?
Hey, don't you dare talk bad about Harrison Ford. He is a national treasure, damn it.
He is.
Yeah, he's also a cranky dick.
He's
pretty old.
You kids, get off my lawn. Oh,
Harrison Ford is a national treasure. At this point, Harrison Ford is the little idol that Indiana Jones would be trying to get because
swap him off a pedestal. But
yeah.
On Masonic's comment, I know
Or
I see a remake of Gran Torino with Harrison Ford.
Connery? You know, is the new Indiana going to be saving him? You know, like he saved his father.
Yeah, have to ignore
that brings up the question: do you bring back Shia LaBeouf?
Don't say that. That never happened. Never happened.
Exactly.
Not happening. That's not happening.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell this right now. The Thanos snap is gonna help us out with that. He's gone, but at least the good thing is the three guys that would survive the Thanos stamp every time would be Indiana Jones, Chuck Norris, and freaking
Mitch McConnell.
There you go.
Yeah. What it is Thanos tried to snap Chuck Norris out of existence and disappeared instead.
Have you seen? I saw a picture of Shia LaBeouf earlier today. He is rocking a full-on Billy Ray Cyrus style mullet.
Oh God, I don't know.
Hey, mess. To go on what you said there, I saw a meme that said Chuck Norris passed 6 kidney stones. They used them for the Infinity Stones.
Back to the stuff that they told us for the next 7 years. We have another due date for New Mutants. Good Lord, just release the thing already.
I know, right? It keeps getting delayed. 2020,
April 3rd, which is so close to April 1st that I just think there's going to be another move again.
It's a lie.
Well, and this article is the first time that I've seen that's supposed to be starring Maisie Williams.
Yeah, she's playing the Wolf Girl. I can't remember the character's name right now. So
the entire Game of Thrones cast is going to, what's the word? Migrate over to.
You've got Maisie in that one. You've got the older brother from Stranger Things.
I mean, you can also say
New Mutants as well. So
I was going to say you can also say the same things from the Lord of the Rings cast, pulling them over as Marvel villains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but I think that's just because they were picking up Oscar winners for the MCU.
Oh, just that, yeah.
And here's the big one, because I was hoping maybe they'd just forget that they had Fox and that they just shelve these and not end up doing them after all. But yeah, the Avatar films are still coming. The Blue Avatar.
Nope.
Damn it.
Yes.
2 of them through 2027. We are still getting.
I feel like they are vastly overestimating how much people want that much Avatar.
Yep.
I guarantee one.
Checked off my bucket list of 2027, and it's going to be that Sarah didn't see 5 Avatar movies.
Right.
Check.
And I guarantee none of them's going to touch Endgame.
Now, did you guys look at the list of all the films coming out?
I have it up right now. Actually, so the one that I'm most intrigued by, and just because I did a little research, I never read the books, but the Shang-Chi thing, is this going to be the first major Marvel character we have that wasn't originally created by Lee and Kirby?
Guardians was created by Lee and Kirby.
No? Okay.
No.
I know that. I know
I'm not the comic book specialist.
Yeah.
I think he's obviously going to be the first Asian led, or like the main cast, or the main character is Asian. I think that's the first main cast for an Asian character. Yeah.
Superhero movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks like, ultimate martial arts master, but also what's the X-Men mutant that can just duplicate himself all the time? A combination of those two. It's meets multiplicity.
A bearded master.
Maybe not multiplicity.
Avatar. At least we're getting Star Wars in between. Still won't finish the first Ferngully. I mean Avatar.
Ferngully.
Hey, you know what? You may have finished it if there was a rapping bat in it. So that would have really
played by Robin Williams. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. The one that jumped out to me the most that I actually really, really enjoy with this list of films that are coming out is a Bob's Burger film. I love that Where is
that?
That was, let me see the year.
Oh, it's
It is
2020.
2020,
July
July
17th.
17th. Yeah.
Oh, I am going to see that. Absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
So I love that they're getting a film. So that's why I was asking if you guys had seen the list, if there was one that jumped out to you
If you don't watch Bob's Burgers, you should watch Bob's Burgers.
For me, I'm interested in the Indiana Jones, and it's just because I want to see them end off.
You
the
want
series
redemption?
Right?
You
Yeah,
want redemption?
I do. I totally am not gonna dump on the last one, the Crystal Skull. I mean, it was interesting that they did take on that challenge with the Crystal Skull. It's just having Shia LaBeouf in there, some of the CGI was a little overdone. I don't know. I enjoy watching
aliens thing.
I enjoy watching Harrison Ford play Indiana Jones. I really do. And it would be interesting to see where they would take him this time because of the simple fact that at this point, he's probably going to be in this, the last one was in the 40s, 50s or something?
No. Crystal Skull, he was in his 60s. At this point, he's going to have a tennis ball in the end.
No. I'm talking about the decade.
Oh, the time period. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was in the 50s or something. So it'd be interesting to see if they put him in the 60s or something.
Yeah, I think it was late 50s, early 60s. Nuclear testing, nuclear family.
Yeah.
Right?
To answer Bearded Mouse in the chat room, is Bob's Burgers going to be animated or live action? I don't think they're going to do a live action version of it. It's going to be
you need H. John Benjamin's voice. And
it'd be like Simpsons or it'd be like South Park. It's just they're getting an animated movie, so which means it's going to have a fantastic soundtrack. There's going to be a killer soundtrack coming out with that.
They're not going to do that as the Phase 5.
No. And hell, you know what? In all honesty, if they did a 2-hour just table read of the actors as a live, I'd even watch that with Bob's Burger. Their table reads are fantastic. So, that show is so much fun. Just listening to everybody and watch. It's so much fun.
I mean, to go with Vader, if it's part of Marvel Phase 5, just bring Archer in at that point.
And H. John Benjamin playing a third.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be a movie I would love to see as Archer, man. That show
the new season's a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Really?
Archer, 1999.
Okay. I love how they've been doing that the last couple.
That's all right. So if you've seen the list of Disney films, that means Fox and Disney coming out in the next 7 years, because that's what they put the list out of. Let us know what film you are looking forward to the most. Hashtag it all things nerd if you're hitting us up on Twitter or any social media. Just make sure to throw hashtag all things nerd on there so that we can look that hashtag up and see whatever tweets you guys are sending out, or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, so we can actually find them and
hashtag all things nerd
on that.
Hashtag there can be only one.
So moving on, trailers. We got 3 big trailers that happened this week. I'm gonna go with the first one first, where you kind of know what's going on with it, and it was just a really spooky, good teaser trailer, and that was It Chapter 2. Did you guys all watch the trailer?
That was such a good trailer.
I can't
describe it.
Super. Did you watch the It 2 trailer?
I did. In fact, I thought I shared it earlier this week. It was a little creepy. I liked it.
Yeah, give us an explanation. What happens in that trailer? Because we always love your explanations.
Dude, that old woman, I mean, she got Cirque du Soleil freaky bendy right there at the end. Yeah, that was creepy. That's what creeped me out, because you know what it took me back to? It took me back to the new Exorcist, and then that movie didn't freak me out so much. But that one scene with the spider walking with the limbs all contorted down the stairs, that's kind of what it reminded me of. And then I don't know who the actress is, but she looked familiar to me. She had that creepy blank-eyed stare down when she's sitting there, Jessica Chastain, and is looking at her, and she's just holding the teacup. And oof, I got chills. That was creepy.
Is that Chastain or was that Bryce Dallas Howard? They're basically the same person, right?
Jessica Chastain. So,
Chastain. Okay. I was I hope I'm right.
So to break down the trailer really quickly, it's Jessica Chastain saying she used to live in this home. She's playing the older version of I can't remember the character's name, but the redheaded girl from chapter 1, and she's talking to this old lady, and the old lady's like, how does the house look now compared to? And the old lady's very creepy. Brings up a line of, well, you know the story here. Whoever dies never really dies, and then just sits there staring at Chastain, and then starts talking again with this smile. And as Chastain's looking around and talking to her, the lady brings up that her father ran a circus, and she looks at the photo. She sees her father. Her father is
Pennywise
in the picture, the Pennywise tent. And then it gets creepy, and then you get little excerpts from all over the trailer and everything like that. So anybody have any other thoughts when they saw the trailer before I get into my my creepy?
Other than that creepy little kid in the background just poking their head out around.
That wasn't the kid.
Yeah.
That was the
that wasn't the kid.
lady.
That was the old lady.
That was
That was what
lady.
creeped me out. Was the old lady like did this little like peek out, and I was like, oh my god.
Old lady is the best horror actress I have ever seen, and I've only seen that trailer for a total of a little over 2 minutes. I've never seen the original It, either version. This trailer made me want to watch. I'm not a horror guy. Horror is not my jam. I now want to watch that stuff so that I know what the hell is going on.
In chapter 1, I had such reverence for Tim Curry's as Pennywise that I don't want this. I don't want them to do it. It chapter 1 was fantastic. Was phenomenal.
I just nailed it to the wall from what I heard.
It is great. So yeah, you should watch it. The one that creeped me out the most with the scene you said about peeking the head out, it was that weird little walk that she did across the hallway.
Yes.
That was, I was like,
what's that?
She's moving like a human most of the time.
That reminded me of that reminded me of that horror film House on Haunted Hill or something like that. Twitching around.
That spastic movement. Because I was watching it on my phone at first, and I actually had to go on my computer and watch it again because I was like, no, that didn't look right. I was like, what was that? And then I wish I hadn't watched it on my computer because it was really freaky.
So this is going to be my anime side coming out. When she did that little bed thing, at first I was like, wait, what? Then I went back and watched it again. I'm like, hold on. That looks like a Titan from Attack on Titan, the way they run kind of thing a little bit. That was my second initial reaction after I saw this. Like, what?
Yeah, no, the trailer was well done enough that I now actively want to see.
You should check, because here's the thing. The first one, so there's movies that happen when you get children's cast and you're like, holy crap, these kids are great actors. And you already know most of these kids because they've been in Stranger Things and stuff like that. But the first one is on that same level where Goonies happens and you're like, God, these kids are great actors. Or Stand By Me. It's that same level. The kids are so good in
Will Wheaton, one of the most talented actors we have.
As a child,
I would really like to know.
I'm unironically saying that.
I'd really like to know, how these kids are in real life. I mean, can you imagine you're a 9, 10-year-old in this movie, and all this crazy stuff is happening? And I mean, how freaked out are you on? I mean, I'd be freaked out. I don't know. I know it's still make-believe, but do you think those kids are going to grow up all mental and stuff?
No.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Some of them. There was a lot different of what these kids went through Hollywood-wise when they were kids.
Yeah,
in the 80s.
It depends on if they were hanging out.
There's a lot more focus now
stories,
of making sure everybody's maintained properly, that Hollywood's not going to ruin them. So, I mean, they still have to do their school hours and everything like that, versus in the past, it was, you got to homeschool for 3 hours and you're good because you're going to be famous. Yeah.
Well, 80s child actors, it was like taking a roto-rooter to your brain with drugs. It was just too much.
Yeah, Rue too makes the comment that the kids these days are smart, and the movie sets have 100+ people always there. So yeah, it's a lot different. Somebody's always watching. It's a watchful eye. Yeah. Now it just comes down to how the parenting is. So
paycheck.
Moving on to the next trailer. This is the one that confused me because I love this series. And I really need to dive in and find out if it's a sequel, a prequel, what the heck is going on. But Watchmen, the trailer for the HBO series,
I was confused.
Was very confused. Did you watch that one, Super?
I did, and it didn't give me nightmares, but that tick 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 tock, was encircling my dreams later that night, and it was a little freaky. So,
well, because I was waiting for definitive looks of characters. You have all these people dressed up like Rorschach. You have which was Jeremy Irons Ozymandias, possibly the way he was sitting and looking. I don't know, because Ozymandias wouldn't be an old man. If he is, then that's going to be a sequel, a pseudo sequel. I was very confused by this trailer.
It looks like a sequel. I tend to agree. I feel like this is taking place years after the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's
no
the
Owlman
thing.
scene.
Yeah, is it even connected to the movie? That's the thing.
That's a good question.
I totally agree with you. When I watched this trailer, and because I just watched the movie not too long ago, I couldn't tell if it was first of all connected. Me personally, I don't know if it is. I think they're just trying to do a side thing. I think they're gonna base off the comic books or whatever and stuff, but they're gonna fast forward it, and it's gonna be some kind of a cult following that they're gonna do on the side. I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if they actually did it with the movie itself, but they'd have to bring some of the actors back, and they don't look like I saw any of those there.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the source material to know where this is placed. I've seen the movie. Like I said, this feels like something that would take place years after the movie, but there's no Billy Crudup or JDM or Owlman or Spec. And there's no. The only recognizable thing for me was the Rorschach mask.
I could see that's where I think Ruru 2 thinks it's a sequel, is because everyone's wearing that Rorschach mask, which means maybe they're trying to live up to what he was or something like that. But
and they had a very anonymous feel, like the hacker collective Anonymous. It felt very much like that, but more as like if Anonymous was a lynch mob.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at some of the details because I love who's behind it and everything. I mean, Damon Lindelof is who's writing it.
I love Lindelof.
And what makes it even better, now I got to go back and watch the trailer again because the composer for the music of the show is Trent Reznor.
Oh, really?
No, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. So I'm gonna go listen to the trailer again just for his music. We have no idea when this takes place. I mean, they really haven't given exact
anything away
of it. So and that's the thing, is DC came out with a pseudo sequel comic book years later because the original writer didn't refuse. Alan Moore didn't want to write anything. He wanted. Oh wait, Watchmen is set in an alternate history where superheroes are treated as outlaws and embraces. Nope, that's the original story. So that doesn't make sense.
Beard Master said in the chat that they came out in January. Said it's going to be an original adaptation.
Okay, so it's just that's where I'm so thrown off, because that's what I assumed was going to be original adaptation. But if it's an adaptation, you would they're throwing enough of their own. Lindelof worked on Lost. He did the HBO show where the last people remaining alive, leftovers. So he loved to play with people's minds and mess with people. So there's going to be some things thrown.
The people that are involved in making it make me want to watch it. But if I was judging purely on the trailer, like I said, I have no knowledge whatsoever of the It stuff, and that trailer made me want to watch it. This trailer for Watchmen just confused me, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Last trailer to talk about was
Yes, please.
Just to keep all the video game nerds from killing Sony execs, because
we've been on the verge for a while.
3 or 4 years ago now, they gave us the first trailer. The little tease.
5 or 6.
Was it that long ago?
I think they used it as if I'm not mistaken, it was like the launch of either the PS4.
Yeah.
It was the PS4, yeah.
Yeah,
so
well,
that's
I know
6 or 7 years ago.
They finally said, "Hey, Final Fantasy VII's coming." But you know what? It's so big, it's so massive the way we're going to do it. It's going to be in chapters, and it's still not here. Then Sony started having they had a press conference. They're showing different stuff, and then they showed us another trailer for Final Fantasy VII. And
they are on a George R.R. Martin production schedule.
It truly are. What'd you guys think of the trailer?
I'm
so
happy.
Mind Frank take this because he's our video game guy.
Nostalgia. That's what I'm just going to leave it at. And to start out with, as most of you guys know, I am primarily an Xbox guy. I do have a PlayStation 4, but I'm not really on it much.
So why are we talking to this guy?
I thought you said you liked video games.
Yeah, what's going on?
In general. but it's just for anyway. I have a PS4 and I play the major titles. I do all my online play on my Xbox.
You get the PS4 just for Naughty Dog. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Naughty Dog, God of War, Spider-Man. Uncharted. No, I'm hyped about it. One of the biggest things that stood out for me in this trailer was the battle system, the way that they have the new battle system. Now, when you think of Final Fantasy, you think the old turn style. I'm going to take my turn, then you're going to take your turn kind of thing, which is fun. But with how successful you've had this open style battle system that you did in Final Fantasy 15, with a game like Final Fantasy 7, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because with how Final Fantasy was back in the original PlayStation, having the different material equipment and all that kind of stuff, it'll be interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, your interface on what you can do as far as move stuff.
To me, it looked, obviously nobody's played it yet, but to me it looked very similar to the Final Fantasy 13 system, which was still essentially turn-based, but also had a real-time element to it.
Yeah.
It looked like they were going that direction.
Yeah, same thing with 12, a little bit of 15, but yeah. But the trailer, and I know me and you kind of talked just a tad bit about this last night. The fact that it's English, which I'm okay with, English and all that stuff. But with a game like Final Fantasy and being a big anime game guy like I am, this is a game if they do have Japanese voice actors, I will play this game in Japanese with subtitles, because
that was some of the stuff popping up on Twitter, was people were asking, please, don't just Americanize it. Just, give us the option to be able to get Japanese voice acting with it.
I'm assuming that if they've taken 6 years to produce this thing and it's still not done, there's probably multiple versions. There's probably a Japanese version that we can buy and import.
That's okay. So Ruta in the chat room, so Ruta says couple things that I want to bring it to you guys too as well for it. But he says does look gorgeous. He says there is a Japanese version of the trailer. You can look up Japanese voice trailer. So that answers that. But the one he brings up is I'll wait for the entire game. With the length that it takes to get the first chapter out, do you guys want to get it as each chapter comes out? Or
No.
I'm going to start reading Game of Thrones as soon as he finishes the book.
So the problem when you release games in chapters, you're going to get those hardcore gamers that'll be like, all right, I want to play this game. I'm going to binge through this game and then just play through it, do everything, be the perfectionist like I am. I'm doing the same thing in 10 right now again. But when you have some of the tall tale games, like the Walking Dead game, or the Borderlands, or Tales from the Borderlands, or even Life is Strange, where it's just bits and parts of the game, then they release it into chapters of everything. It's just we have to sit and wait, and then we just kind of forget about it, and then the next chapter comes out, and you're just like, oh, the next chapter's out. Well, I'm playing a new game. If they're smart, release the entire game, then bring out more DLC stuff later on if you're able to do.
Further chapters.
They've already confirmed after this trailer drop that it is still going to be chapter released.
So if they do, go ahead,
Sonic.
I was so being that I've spent God knows how many hours on playing Final Fantasy up to a certain point, I'm actually not excited about it. And the reason why it is because I thought Final Fantasy 7 was an awesome game as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And all they're trying to do is go back and take it out of 16-bit and put it into...
But that's been asked for so long.
That is what's been asked for.
This is
the thought that I had while watching the trailer was, is it going to be a true recreation just with better graphics and better voiceover? Or are there going to be changes in the storyline? Is it just going to be faithful, or will it be slightly different?
It's going to be faithful.
Well, I mean, and going
the flower scene alone, it's going to be faithful.
Oh God,
I don't know. Just going to.
I don't want to cry again.
To me, it looks like there's the gaming industry, or at least in this situation. I hope they're not trying to retrend and go back and reboot games or something, because I don't think we've ran out of ideas. I mean, I think the gaming industry, between movies and games, I think there's a lot more of a future in games than there are movies. I understand why movies are going back and either redoing or rebooting or whatever you want to call it. However, games I think are infinite, and to me, I don't understand why they're retouching a game that was masterful even in 16-bit. I think they should probably just move on. I mean, I don't even know where they're at. Final Fantasy 80 or something.
Let's play the bad guy here for you on your argument. I understand your argument, but how easy is it for you to go to your son and go, "This is a game I loved from when," and put it in him and have him play it and have him fall in love with it, versus if you give him something that he's more known with the graphics that they are now and the quality of the storyline, where you've got Last of Us and stuff that's
oh yeah,
you know,
dude, you're losing that battle with me already, because my kid's Nintendo Switch, I have the annual pass, and they could play all the. He's played Tecmo Ball. He's played a lot of the games I've already played, and he loves them.
I know.
So,
I have an
I'm
11-year-old, and very
I'm
similar.
not trying to say it doesn't happen, but there are going to be this. Ruru2 brings it up in the chat room, where he says this will also target a new audience. I don't know if he's calling us old, but look at all you guys in your 30s and 40s. You will want to show this to your kids, and that is true. That not all kids. You have done a wonderful job of showing your son from a young age all this stuff. Same thing the way my dad raised me. Like, I was watching Jason the Argonauts and stuff, falling in love with that stuff that was well before I was born, and it was because of how I was
the claymation.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. But it's because of how I was raised. Versus, there's going to be people that they're going to have kids where they're just like, I don't want to play a game that looks like that. I don't care how good the story is. I don't want to.
So I have an 11-year-old, and he is, he's an 11-year-old. He's a standard 11-year-old. He learns everything that he knows from the internet. And my ex-wife and I, we've played, original NES Mario with him up through, 1 through 3. We've beaten all of those together. We played the original Metroid and stuff, and he enjoyed them. But he, the whole time, was taking little shots at us like, "Wow, these graphics suck."
Yeah, but then you sit there and you go to him and say, "Hey, how much have you played of Minecraft?" Because literally, my kid's playing Minecraft right now, and that's like 8 graphics.
And
I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I will say Ruru2
But, like,
does have a good
ironically.
point, because Yogurt said merchandising,
But yeah, I mean, when you've got Resident Evil being remade and people buy, why wouldn't you want one of the most iconic games that really set off PlayStation, that really skyrocketed this system? When you have fans asking for it, yeah, give it to us.
We've been begging for it for years.
But even so, like, looking back when Final Fantasy 10 came out back in like the early 2000s, you made the crossover. Yeah, you still had like the talking bubbles, but you had.
I love 10 so much.
Oh yeah, it's still
the guy that voices Waka is a moron. Other than that,
oh, it's Waka. Tina's for me, but but no, it's coming into the new age with these new upgraded graphics, the new upgraded TVs. Why not take, like as Matt said, one of the pinnacle games of gaming history, of PlayStation history, to the modern age, because it's what the fans want.
Well, and that's the point. Like what Masonic was bringing, like, you don't have to. These games are great. You don't have to remake them, but that's Square Enix tried to pull that. People were asking for the remake, and Square Enix straight up said, "Go play it the way it is. It's a great game. We're not remaking it." And people lost.
It was already a nearly perfect game.
Yeah, I know, but people lost their minds, and so they're like, "If we're going to pay for it, do it," and that's why they're doing it. But now they want to make sure that a perfect product comes out, which means this 5-year wait, this 6-year wait, and now we've just gotten another trailer, and they said more to come in June, which is when E3 is. So
which I find surprising.
June 2020.
Which I find surprising, because didn't Sony pull out of E3 this year?
They did. So is it 2020? Is that what you said?
So unless it's Square Enix. Unless it's Square Enix is going to be showing more of it. That could be the only thing, because I don't think Square Enix is pulled out. But usually when you think of Square Enix, though, Square Enix has almost always done the Sony press conference with them, as well as had their own as well. So that's the only thing that can make sense.
I want to retract my earlier statement that the voice of Waka was a moron, because apparently it's
John DiMaggio.
It's John DiMaggio, who's the voice of Bender, and actually the voice of the main female was actually the one that I hated the most.
You know,
you wrong on that one.
Yeah. Because John DiMaggio can do no wrong in my book. So.
Okay. No, I agree. I love John DiMaggio. Okay.
Especially on Talking Tunes when he did HAL 3000.
That was our reaction to the different trailers. One last, it's going to go a little bit late because there's one last thing. We haven't had a Somebody's Got to Talk About in a while. So
This one's so weird.
This one is so weird. That's why it's a Somebody's Got to Talk About It.
Talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it.
These are the stories where it's weird, it's odd, it's just goofy, and somebody's got to talk about it. We have to discuss this.
Have you ever wanted to have your spring water out of a tall boy?
No.
Nobody has. No one has.
Wait. Did you want to feel like an adult, but really couldn't? So you have to make it look like it.
Did you want to make Golden Ultra that's even more watery than it already is?
So,
do you want to murder your thirst?
That's their actual tagline. Let Mass get into it, because
let me explain what we're talking about, because people right now are going to be like, what are they talking? Yeah. So there is a new drink out called Liquid Death, and yes, their slogan is "Murder Your Thirst." It's a tall can style with a melting skull on it. It is straight up water. Water.
Just nothing but water.
It's water.
For Aquafina. It's funny.
And the way that they are addressing it it is for the straight edge punk.
Is straight edge still a thing? I thought that went away in like the mid 2000s.
It did. It died, and they're trying to bring it back.
Like, I felt really bad for everybody who got X's tattooed on their hands, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's why they have the skull on the can, because it died, and then they're trying to bring it back.
It's such a good joke.
Oh my God.
Room.
I
It
mean,
sounds like Razor making a toaster.
Who has ever thought in their life, I'm not going to drink water because it just doesn't look gangster enough?
Okay.
Jared Leto's Joker.
I'm just going to say this right now. If that comment is not on the greatest at the end of the year mess, you're fired, dude. That coming from Super is
Such a good joke.
but now here's what's going to happen. I mean, going into the Twitch world, people are going to be live streaming games. They're going to be brown bagging their water. You know, they're going to be pouring one for their homies. You know, every time your buddy dies, they're pouring one for their homie.
I want to see somebody get their keys out and shotgun on water.
Oh my God.
Okay,
so ridiculous.
I do want to bring this up because I know, if you guys are looking to buy some stuff on Amazon, buy Liquid Death on Amazon. It's available on Amazon right now.
Funny.
Oh my God.
I want to know how this man raised $1.3 million.
1.6, and it's because he's a
1.6.
Netflix exec. So he's got some elbows to rub.
But he said, we're going to sell water in a metal can. And actually, my first thought when reading through that article, my second thought, my first thought was, this is a garbage concept. My second thought was, this is environmentally unfriendly. Why are you doing that?
Actually, now here's the thing. Thinking about it, because I didn't get a chance to read the article beforehand. I kind of read into it really quick. And you're talking about first things that come in my head. I'm going to tell you the first thing that came in my head, no BS, is President Scrooge opening up the can of air, taking a big sniff of it. Oh my gosh, you're going to have water now in the can.
Oh my God, the chat room is having so much fun with this. And we record this live every Friday on Twitch, twitch.tv/Malice Corp. So you can be part of the chat room for this type of stuff. But I have to read off some of these.
Real quick, you cannot drink those canned waters unless you're wearing Jinkos. That's all I'm saying.
Beacon says,
Mest, I know you wore Jinkos.
I did definitely. Chase it with Mountain Dew and you'll be fine. Ruru says, sell it on Goop.
Oh God, with the jade eggs. Yep.
And Bearded Master brings up, so we're going to be shotgunning Liquid Death Mountain Water during the GOT finale.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be pouring one for a Lannister.
Well, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna buy a tall boy, drink the beer, and then just pour tap water into it.
So, this is from a magazine. The Liquid Death co-founder. This is from a magazine. The Liquid Death co-founder explains Once liquid death reaches your thirst's brain, all of your thirst's memories will be replaced with repeating loops of its own head imploding.
Oh, like okay, so it's Brondo, but it's just water instead of.
Yes.
So I wonder.
Brondo, the thirst mutilator.
I wonder if this is.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I wonder if this is going to be like the beginning of canned water, kind of like how Coca-Cola's original formula had Coke.
No, it's just.
I mean, if they're putting Coke in the water, I'll buy it.
Yeah, no, it's straight water. Their explanation is to market them specifically to straight age punks again, as opposed to whole food yoga moms. So just because they're putting it into a can, a melting skull that says "murder your."
If you're wearing pants that are really tight on your legs, you cannot buy our product. I'm sorry.
It's not
Like
meant
I
for
said,
you.
Jinko wearers only.
Well, this is like for those, those YouTube videos that you see of like little angry teenage boys in their mama's basement pretending that they're punk rockers and doing death metal. They're going to be pounding that on the side because they're underage and they can't really get a tall boy, and they're going to be pounding that, trying to look cool.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
It's going to be the old Adam Sandler skit where the guy's like drinking the non-alcoholic.
Oh man, I had like 20 of these, man. I'm so drunk.
I could tell you
Yeah,
that
the
this
beer was non-alcoholic.
this would probably be in the Offspring's music video, "A Pretty Fly for a White."
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes. Thank you.
Can we have a remake of that video featuring liquid death?
But I can understand how it got made. Okay, so you were asking how he got 1.6 million. I'm going to read you off some of the comments that in this interview or from the co-founder said, and the guy can sell. So he says, initially some of our thinking was we wanted to take more inspiration from the beer category, because one thing we know in marketing is if you want younger people to want something, you have to market to people in their 20s because teens want the thing they can't have. At first, we knew the easiest crowd for us is anyone into heavy metal, punk rock, and that kind of world, because they immediately get the joke and get the humor and have never seen.
Because they're so well known for being well hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
What makes this appealing for such a large group is that it feels like a niche thing. If you think about it, it makes sense. Everything metal and punk is extreme. Being vegan is extreme. Protesting the deforestation is extreme. There are more vegans at a heavy metal show than Taylor Swift show. We are by far the most sustainable option for packaged water, which is a big driver for why people want to buy from us. How long do you think it'll last? I mean,
Best, can you at any point put up a picture of what this can looks like on the screen?
Let me see.
I'm going to put $100 down right now. There are going to be people with this logo tattooed on their body forever.
So is Liquid Death the new monster, Thad?
It can't be, because
for guys named Kyle.
No, it's actually guys named Joshua, and they're
it's going to be for guys named Joshua now, or not like, hey Bryce.
Yeah, we're leaving behind the Chads and the Dirks, and we're going for the Joshuas and the Christophers. Christopher. Thank you.
Is this going to be, in all honesty, is this going to be like when these were out there? Is this just it's going to be an Instagram thing? Is it going to be just like when Starbucks has their special shake that tastes, or their special frap that tastes absolutely horrible, their unicorn frap, whatever? Nobody's drinking it; they're just buying it. Instagram and it's in the trash. Are they going to do the same thing? And then once the Instagram craze for this can runs out, it's gone. I
can tell you this: their first, you buy a 12-pack, their first giveaway is going to be a man bun.
Or scrunchies, yeah. Scrunchies for your man bun. This entire brand has a 3 to 4 month shelf life. In
other words, buy a can of it and save it somewhere. It'll be
no. It's how quickly until it's at the 99-cent store, because now that's the only place that will.
Oh yeah, it's the only place you can still find Four Loko.
Yeah, you'll find it. It'll be at the 99-cent store for 75 cents.
And Big Lots, yeah.
No, Walmart will have it, I'm sure.
I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll have already seen what it looks like. But
yeah, I feel like Walmart's a little too classy for that.
Oh my god!
Big Lots is the wheelhouse, or 99-cent store. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, bearded master. Yes, you can get a man bun, sir.
Can you do a man bun in your beard? Because I want to see that.
just so you guys can see this before we sign off.
It's
There's your liquid death. This is water. It's just water.
Oh my god, that's hardcore, dude.
It's
Right? That water is metal.
Oh my gosh.
I want to make so many Brondo comparisons. It's like riding a pony that's 300 feet tall and covered in chainsaws.
I think I know what I'm going to be for Halloween this year on the cast.
You're going to be Liquid Death?
I'm going to be a can of liquid death.
Nice.
So that's it. That's our cast for this week. We went a little bit late, but you guys were having fun in the chat room with the liquid death water. Any other things that you guys can think of to make more metal so that the straight edge punk can have stuff to eat and drink? Let us know in the comments, or once again, head over to facebook.com/groups/all things nerd podcast and let us know there. Or if you're dropping it on Twitter, as always, anything that you're tweeting to get to us, hashtag it all things nerd so that we can look up that hashtag, find you, and interact with you, or just do it at any of our links that we're going to give you right now on where to follow. As we go out, usually we do a hashtag of the week. What we're going to do this time as we're going out, if you have a fighter in the nerd fight, I want you to give us why people should be voting for it right now on the malice-corp.com website. You can vote every 10 hours, and you get to decide who is the best MCU character. If you don't have a fighter in it, you can just say why.
Write in Ant-Man.
I guess that's what IC wants added to it. So.
I would that would have been my vote.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about where to follow everybody. I'm going to go with Mind Freak first, since he is farthest over on my screen. Mind Freak, where can people follow you, and why should they be voting for Captain America?
That was my pick.
Oh, sorry, Iron Man.
All right. You guys can follow me at Twitter at MindFreakMLG, talking all things nerd, Malice Corp Edition. You can also follow me right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/BTBMindFreak. Streaming PC is almost done. Going to have the new stream set up here soon. And I'm going to give you 4 words as to why you should vote for Iron Man. I am Iron Man.
Oh my god. Wow.
Pretty simple.
And that is Mind Freak for
Hey,
you.
wait, and you do sales for a living? Really? Damn.
I see Zora. Where can people follow you? And I don't know. Do you want to write another paragraph into this article, or do you just want to go with one of the ones that people have going on?
Oh, I don't need my pick.
Okay.
So if you want to throw it in, whatever. But yeah, we don't need it. I love
give an argument.
Paul Rudd is amazing.
Give an argument of why who you think that's in the running should be voted for, as you tell people where to follow you as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you can follow me at ICZoro on Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation Network. Ant-Man would have been my pick, because I clearly wouldn't have gotten to pick Iron Man first. That's the obvious number one choice. Ant-Man is hilarious. Paul Rudd hasn't aged a day since Clueless. He's as fresh and funny and irreverent as ever. He was the comic relief in Endgame. You tell me Back to the Future is bullshit? The whole thing, the entire character is amazing. Ant-Man, the first movie, was one of my favorite, most fun of those movies. So that's why that would have been my pick.
And if Super wants to write another paragraph and add him to it, then you can vote for Ant-Man. Otherwise, you'll have to vote for all the other people.
I'll lose anyway,
I thought
but
about
whatever.
going with Ant-Man, because those were personally some of my favorite as well, too.
Well, we'll get there in a second. Masonic Vader, where can people follow you, and why should they be voting for Captain America?
You can follow me, Masonic Vader, on Twitter, Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network. Well, you gotta follow Captain America, or you gotta vote for Captain America, because he's the original Avenger. That's it, plain and simple. If it wasn't for Captain America, we would be living in a different world. He stopped Hydra the first time with the Tesseract and defeated the Red Skull. And if it wasn't for that, then you would not be having Avengers, because it would be the Russian Avengers or something. So you need to.
Oh, that's a good
German.
one.
You can go the German too, whatever. But yeah, you got to pick for Captain America, because he is numero uno. I can't say anything bad about Iron Man, but he is the first Avenger, Captain America.
That was the name of his movie.
Literally.
Hashtag full metal hydration.
There has never actually
no
been a movie
hydration.
just called Captain America. They all have subtitles.
Super. Where can people follow you, and why should they be voting for Scarlet Witch?
You can follow me on Twitter at SuperRubyandNet or on Instagram at SuperRubyandFreak. I picked Scarlet Witch, one, because I didn't think there were enough females on the list, and two, I think that she's just underutilized. She's one of the most powerful Marvel characters there is, and the movies did not do her justice, in my opinion. So, as much as I know people want a Black Widow movie, I would actually prefer to get a Scarlet Witch movie. So I that's just my opinion. I think she's a total badass, and I would like to see her better represented. So if you haven't read her in the comics, if you haven't researched her character, go research her character and find out all the things that she can do, because she could seriously screw with the world if she wanted to.
Absolutely. If you want to follow this podcast, head over to Twitter, All Nerd Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. If you're listening to this on twitch.tv/Malice Corp, make sure that you're following us. Make sure that you're subscribing if you'd like to support us, or if you were commenting, thank you so much for being a part of the comment section. And then anywhere that you're listening to the cast, you can listen to it on Stitcher, on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google, anywhere for the most part. Make sure that you're subscribing, they're dropping a review. That's how other people find out about this cast. As reviews come in, I'm going to try and look at them and see the great ones that come in, so that we can read those funny ones on the air and get everybody's reactions to them. So thank you guys for reviewing the actual cast. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at @mest_Malice Corp, or on Instagram at mest5150. And my pick, I've already gotten slack for this, because it's like, oh, I'm going up against Thor and Captain America and Iron Man. Like, why the heck on this list would you have Drax? And it's two reasons. One, I was the last pick.
Max has given you so much credit.
Yeah. Two, what do we go to movies for? We go to be entertained. What do we love about movies? When you see somebody that you don't expect to be a great actor killing it and crushing a role. And that is two things that happen with Drax. Drax is extremely entertaining. You're always laughing at the lines. He usually has the best lines in Guardians or whatever film he shows up in terms of hilarity.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
Exactly. And it was another wrestler coming in. You were thinking The Rock was the only good wrestler ever that was a really good actor, and Batista kills it as Drax. And Batista really, you didn't expect him to do as well as he did, and it has launched a career for him, and he's done really, really well with the character. And so that's why Drax is my best character in the MCU. So you guys vote for what you think is the right one, but thank you for being here for the cast. Thank you for talking all things nerd with us. You keep nerding on, and we will see you next Friday.